Hello, welcome to my review of Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 1, That Hope Is You, Part 1. Okay, so this takes place pretty much, actually, directly after the end of Discovery Season 2. So, we'll have to recap that a little bit. So, Discovery Season 2, it's about this time-traveling entity known as the Red Angel, which, spoilers, sorry. So there's two Red Angels. One happens to be Burnham's mom, and she warns of this out-of-control AI that is going to kill all sentient life in the galaxy if it gets this sphere data that the Discovery has. So then Burnham ends up making this other Red Angel suit to time travel the Discovery 930 years into the future so that Control cannot have access to it. Okay, so we pick up Michael Burnham as she's in her Red Angel suit right after coming out of the wormhole 930 years into the future. So the episode starts off with you see this digital clock. It's a bird. I mean, it looks really cool. And in kind of following the morning routines of this mystery man, who actually happens to be a remnant of the now mostly defunct Federation. And he's constantly looking for signals. Okay, so then we pick up the story of Cleveland Booker. I believe that's his actual name. He goes by Book. And he's a smuggler or a courier. And he had just stole some cargo from this orc-looking guy. And the wormhole opens into the future, and Burnham comes flying out of it, rams into a ship, and then they both kind of go crash land on the planet. Well, Book it does not appreciate her having crashed a ship, and they have this, there's a lot of fisticuffs that follow. Okay, so Book ends up telling Burnham that she must believe in ghosts since she's wearing a Starfleet badge. She's not exactly happy with the idea that the Federation and Starfleet are not exactly alive and vibrant in this year 31 something or other. And she is confused. Hey, what happened? What happened? And the book explains it's something called the burn. And what is the burn? Apparently, all the dilithium crystals ended up just exploding. And there's only a few remnants of dilithium left. And there's no explanation about why this happened, how it happened. It's just, so we don't know if it was just some kind of natural occurrence or probably most likely some spacefaring aliens either during some kind of experiment tried to link all the dilithium together and exploded it all or something like that, or some kind of maybe there was some malice intent. Which is probably likely. Yeah, we'll find out in future episodes. But with all the dilithium gone, it's pretty much what's left of it. Dilithium is extremely important for warp-capable ships. They can't go to warp without the dilithium. But the issue, this could end up bringing back. This could be very important too, because Discovery has the spore drive. It doesn't need warp. It can So Discovery travels using they don't need the warp drive. They can travel using the spore drive, which is the super mushroom superhighway. I mean, it's kind of a silly concept, silly enough to make any Mario Kart enthusiast quite happy. Well, anyway, so they end up going because Burnham has like all her phaser and tricorder and things like that. You know, she's got a lot of antiques she can sell for dilithium or whatever she needs. You know, she needs some kind of subspace communicator to try to contact Discovery, because at this point she has no idea or where or when Discovery is. It just, all she knows, it didn't come out the same, the wormhole at the same time or whatever that she had. They go to the smuggler place, which is run by Orions and Andorians and Lorians, which is Morn species. And a Book ends up betraying Burnham and stealing the tricorder, and she gets arrested. And then she gets zapped with some truth serum, and then there's just kind of a funny scene that follows. And then they kind of meet back up because that orc guy that was after Book in the beginning ends up finding him, and then Book and Burnham end up having to team back up to save both their asses. And it turns out that the cargo that Book had stolen was actually an endangered species, some kind of giant eel whale type creature. And Book is part of a species, or at least this is a special ability he has, is to talk to animals, and talk to plants, talk to animals, and he's very much like that. And I'm almost wondering if the species that he's a part of, I mean, he looks human, but I mean, I don't think he is. The species that he's a part of I was thinking, it's like, does he have something to do with the whale probe in Star Trek 4? Since he seems very overly obsessed and very tender-hearted about endangered animals. And that's where he kind of risked his whole career position and everything to save this animal that was being used, that's endangered, and was somebody else's cargo that was going to be used to feast upon, for people to feast upon. So I'm almost wondering if that's related, or if that's just something that I'm just kind of putting together, connecting dots that aren't there. You know, that's always possible. Okay, so after Book and Burnham end up getting that animal back to its sanctuary, Book takes Burnham to this relay station where the guy that we saw in the beginning is working, and he says he's the one who says that the hope is you to Michael Burnham about Starfleet, the Federation, and everything, and maybe she can help bring it back. And he says that he can only see the warp signatures of 2 Federation vessels that are out there, and I'm hoping that one of these vessels is the Enterprise. Well, Enterprise X. I'm just gonna put X on it because that's what we do, right? Who knows? Maybe that's actually a realistic numbering our letter designation on the ship during that time. So this burn happened about 100 to 120 years before this episode. So I would say that if there is an Enterprise out there, it's probably about 130 years old at least. Yeah, so I'm thinking that that this is kind of my guess, is that Discovery is going to be a little defunct, but they're going to equip the new Enterprise with the spore drive, so it can travel around without warp drive. That's where I think that the season's gonna go. So the first time I watched this episode, I was a little distracted. Just got home from work, and I liked it, but I was just kind of more felt like disappointed. Like, okay, well that was okay, but I don't know. Like the scene with where they're at the smugglers and Book betrays Burnham. I feel like we've seen those kinds of scenes play out so many times before. I just kind of was like, whatever. Anyway, I gave it a rewatch where I took my notes for this video, and I enjoyed it a lot more. My issues with this episode are more dealing with the fact that this is one of those shows that encourages you to binge watch it, but you only get one episode a week with the format that CBS All Access is releasing the episodes. So you can't binge watch it unless you want to wait for multiple episodes or to be released. So I'm not going to be able to binge watch until rewatch. Anyway, obviously that's just kind of a pointless gripe. But having said that, I do like the idea that we kind of have to sit on the episodes, especially when you don't know the answers right away. You have to think about it. Like, kind of what I was saying is like, hey, maybe New Enterprise is going to be involved in here. What exactly happened with the burn? If you could watch the whole season over a lazy day, you're not going to be thinking about those things. But when you're having to wait 3 months to get the final answer, you're going to be thinking about things, and then being able to look back and be like, boy, was I wrong on where this was headed. And so that's going to be fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, and hopefully the quality stays up. I've liked Discovery, except for a few episodes in season 1. Overall, I think it's a great show, and I think season 3 is off to a good start.